Hello, and welcome to the Killer Cuties podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Cassidy, and I've seen almost every horror movie out there.
And I'm KD, and before we started, I'd seen almost none of them.
So join us each week as I attempt to make a horror fan out of Katie.
As a warning, we will be discussing spoilers and some uncomfortable topics that may be in the plots, so feel free to check out the film on doesthedogdie.com first to check for any triggers before listening.
Today, we're going to be talking about the Spanish language film with a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes, When Evil Lurks. Let's get spooky. Should I kick us off with a summary?
Yes, please.
All right, so When Evil Lurks. Two brothers, Pedro and Jaime, find half of a body in the woods after investigating the area the morning after hearing a gunshot. This leads them to a nearby shack where they find a mother and her two sons. The oldest son, Uriel, has become a rotten, which is someone possessed by an unborn demon awaiting physical birth. The body they discovered in the woods was the corpse of a cleaner, which is the person who aborts demons before they possess others. Dismissed by authorities, the brothers take Uriel to dump him in a different town. And on the road, they swerve to avoid a boy, but when they finally get to where they're going to dump him, they realize that Uriel's not in the truck anymore. They head back thinking he fell out far enough away that it won't matter. Pedro and Jaime leave town, with Jaime going to get their mother, and Pedro going to his ex-wife Sabrina's house to get his two sons. While there, he gets into an argument with his ex-wife and her new husband, Leonardo. While they're distracted, the family dog, who's now been possessed by Pedro's demon-infected clothing, attacks Sabrina and Leonardo's daughter, dragging her outside by the head. Pedro and Leonardo chase after them, with Leonardo shooting the dog. And Pedro returns to find Sabrina with her daughter, who is seemingly unharmed. He steals their car and leaves with the sons as Sabrina is killed when Leonardo rams his truck into her. Pedro and his sons, Javier and Santino, reunite with Jaime and their mother, and they go to Mirta's house. She's a former cleaner and a friend of Jaime's. And Mirta warns Jaime about Javier, who is autistic and nonverbal, because she sees signs of possession in him. She's kind of dismissed, though, but that night, the possessed corpse of Sabrina comes and kidnaps Santino. Mirta and Pedro go searching for Uriel to stop the demon's birth, while Jaime goes after Sabrina, but he discovers that she's already killed Santino and he runs her over with his truck. The brother's mother stays at Mirta's with Jair, who begins just speaking completely clearly. Pedro and Mirta's search leads them to a schoolhouse filled with possessed children who try to get them to leave. They find Uriel under the stage in the auditorium, and Pedro attempts to unearth him as Mirta sets up the equipment to kill the demon. But Pedro gets impatient and he starts to believe the kids lie about an axe nearby, so he leaves the room, despite Mirta telling him not to. While he's in the other room, the children kill Mirta and dismantle the equipment. Overcome with rage, Pedro beats Uriel to death, and the demon is born. The demon spares Pedro, and the children follow it out of the schoolhouse. Pedro and Jaime and Jair return home, and as Jair eats ice cream, he begins choking. He coughs up Pedro's mother's hair and necklace, revealing that he was possessed and he ate her. What'd you think?
Are you done?
Oh, yeah. Well, he runs outside and starts crying, but that's pretty much it.
Wow. What a film.
What a film. Yeah.
Yeah. I live tweeted a little bit of it to you.
Yeah. You sent me a Snapchat that I wish I would have screenshotted of your face as you watched it.
Yeah, the first one that I sent to you was just all capital letters. Fuck.
Mm.
That was the goat scene.
Yeah, when you said that was the goat scene, I was like, oh. Uh-oh. If that's your reaction to that scene, which is pretty inconsequential compared to the rest of what happens.
I mean, it wasn't the goat of the goat scene. It was the,
smashing
her own face of the goat scene.
An axe. Yeah.
Yeah, that was brutal. And then and the dog scene, I was screaming at the kids, stop touching the fucking dog. I was literally like, oh my God, please stop touching the
Yeah,
dog. Oh my God, stop touching the dog.
they didn't. And then the dog touched.
Yeah. That by far the most gruesome scene involving a kid I've ever seen. I mean, there's not a lot of blood,
With the dog?
or I think so.
You didn't think like
Oh, yeah, the brain scene too.
I'm like an
Yeah,
hour
you're right.
later
You're right.
when
You're right.
Santino dies and his mom's eating his brains. Like you didn't think that was a
Yeah,
little worse because I did personally, but
yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Like collectively, this movie has the worst kid scenes by
yeah,
far. I can't think of any other kid scenes that are as bad.
yeah. Honestly, after watching this for the first time, I was kind of like, okay, we can go back to kids being safe in horror movies. Maybe I was wrong,
Yeah,
and we can go back. Like maybe let's just not kill kids anymore in horror movies because this movie was brutal. I mean, this movie's brutal,
yeah.
like period. But yeah, they did not shy away from shocking moments.
Yeah. It would have been one thing if the kids that were dying were like the possessed kids that were
Mm,
like lying and like trying to deceive. Like it would have been like, oh, haha, the goat was coming to them kind of thing. Like that would have softened the blow a little bit. But these were like innocent kids
yeah, yeah, they didn't.
that had like relationships with their mother and father. Like that, it was just really hard to
Yeah,
watch.
for sure. And like to your point, there's one scene where he like hits a possessed kid with his car door and then starts punching her in the face. And like I thought that was kind of
Yeah.
funny. Seeing like an 8-year-old get the shit rocked. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, after the dog scene where the one little girl gets carried away with the dog and she's like being shaken
Yeah,
by the dog, she just comes back. The little girl just comes back and's like hugging her mom and she's totally fine.
yeah. Well, she
So,
wasn't, but
well, no. But like physically, she was intact.
yeah,
I was like, no way.
yeah.
No way that bitch lived. That dog could have torn her apart in seconds.
Mm. Oh, 100%. And it did.
Yeah. And it sure did.
Yeah. Which,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a wild scene. And I want to say too, so I, after last episode where, I fumbled the bag with the breaking of the bones scene for you, I was like,
Thank
okay, I'm
you.
gonna go through and like tell her all the like timestamps where you can mute, right? And so
Mhm.
I'd done that, and you were like, oh, thank you so much. And then not that long after that, Katie sends me like, okay, but like this timestamp is really funny. And it was around the same timestamp that like the dog attacks the girl. So I was like, did she think that was funny? Because that's so
No, that's the
You
most
were talking
disturbing
about
scene I've ever
something
seen.
else, so it was not about that. But I was like, you didn't clarify that at all. So
No.
I thought you were still talking about the movie, and I was like, are her timestamps just like a little bit off because it was like a few minutes? And I was like, is she talking about that scene? That's crazy.
No. No, sorry, no. No, I was talking about an episode of the podcast, actually.
Yeah, we find ourselves very funny.
Yes. Yeah. The scene that I'll tell everybody what I was talking about. It's the FNAF episode,
Mm,
and the timestamp is, wait for it, 30 minutes, 52 seconds to
mm,
31 minutes, 0 seconds.
yeah, you
I
guys
had a
didn't.
brain fart and it's really fucking funny. And you don't even react at all. And I find that even fucking funnier.
I don't even know what. I didn't look, so I don't know what that was. But
Yeah, I couldn't think of what I wanted to say. And I was just like, never mind. And
mm,
it didn't even phase you. It's just really funny. But anyway,
I feel like you do that sometimes, though. So I'm just like, whatever. She'll think of it.
yeah. I didn't even make it there. I didn't even get to what I was thinking of. I
One
gave
day,
up.
though. One day you'll remember
Yeah.
and then be like, hey, in the FNAF episode, here's what I was thinking.
Well, no, I couldn't form a sentence. It wasn't that I couldn't think of. We're on a
Oh,
tangent. It,
we always are.
yeah. Anyway, there was nothing funny about this movie at all.
No. Yeah, no. But Yeah, since we talked extensively about the kids, apparently there were like government rules regarding what they could do with the child actors.
Oh.
And so, like, they weren't allowed to have artificial blood on the kid's skin at any time. And
Oh.
I think it was the scene with like Uriel's little brother where he's like giving his like little heartfelt monologue. He wasn't allowed to hold a gun in that scene. So it was like these like little rules that they said that they had to deal with. And I'm like, I find that so interesting in a movie that's this brutal towards children. They were like, oh, but like you can't get syrup on their skin. Like,
Well, also, they were covered in lime or flour or
yeah,
something.
the kids were, yeah, in the school.
Yeah, and the demon baby
Yeah.
completely covered in blood. That was a child,
Yeah. Was
right?
it? I don't know. Maybe it was like a teen, a young
And how
adult.
old was how old was Uriel's little brother?
I think he was early teens because they said that the
Okay.
teenager couldn't hold a gun during his monologue. And the only person that I could think of were like, because like they take the gun away from him and then he starts like
Yeah.
talking about what happened to his mom. So I was assuming that it was that scene.
Okay.
Um, but I don't know for sure that that's the scene that they were talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah, but
This is an
yeah,
Argentinian film, right?
it is. Yes, it's set in Argentina. And I believe the director Damien Rugna is Argentinian.
Makes sense.
Yeah. He got the idea for the movie from like a series of news articles that were about pesticides, like farm pesticides in Argentina that were causing
Oh.
like widespread health issues. And they just weren't regulating them and like the workers were just going in and like literally getting cancer from it because no one like cared enough to do anything about it.
Jeez.
I know, and I think that it's really interesting that like this spawned from that because you can kind of see elements of that in the movie. It's like it's clear
Hmm.
that this world that he's set up, like the government has systems in place to handle like the rottens, but
Hmm.
they just failed because of indifference and laziness and like he tries to tell them like we have to take care of this and they're just like it's probably not even a rotten like you're just think like you're being dramatic, it's not that big of a deal because they don't
Yeah.
want to deal with it.
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
I I think it's funny that they're like could be zombies, could be demons,
Mhm.
could be what's the word when you need to be exercised, possessed.
By a demon, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. So it could be either of those two things, just the two. Nope.
Yeah, he
I mean, I see more zombie in either. I mean, than the two of the two. I see more zombie.
so he did mean it as like a possession movie about
Yeah.
demons. um like I pulled a quote from him. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, I saw that he was trying not to play on typically like a possession slash exorcism movie plays on like the religion aspect,
Yeah.
which was not what was going on in this film at all. It was very much like the opposite of that. Like religion is gone, which I thought was kind of a fresh, interesting take. Which
Yeah.
that might have also been why I felt kind of more like zombie than
Mhm.
possession. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Like it's really interesting to like have people depending on like these rules that they have and like each other rather than dealing with like organized religions and let's set up an exorcist and like do it like that. So I do
Hmm.
agree. Like it was definitely a very unique take on possession that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Um, but I found the quote. He said, when I decided to make a movie with some kind of exorcism, I thought, okay, but what happens if the people cannot reach a priest? All the exorcist movies happen in a city, in a big house. But what if we're in the middle of nothing, in a poor house with poor people who nobody cares for? Even the owner of the land wants to get rid of them, to burn their houses. It happens in my own country all the time. Not the demons, but the rest.
Bad.
God damn.
Yeah, it's heavy.
I know. And what's even funnier is like he had like this huge, like, kind of deeper meaning to like this whole thing. And you can really see that in the film. But then, like, he even
Mhm.
said, like, oh, I wasn't trying to make like this crazy deep message.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I just want to like make a movie that's entertaining first and foremost, and like that's just kind of like a side narrative of it. I was like, okay, well, you did a good
Yeah. Um, Speaking of the rules,
job. Mm.
it was like Zombieland. Zombieland times 10.
Zombieland minus the comedy.
Yeah. Um, which is another reason it was like zombies for me. Plus like the brain eating and the walking like zombies and the pustules and anyway.
Yeah, and the demon being born.
That, that was something. That sure was something. Um I still don't quite understand the like lime and the bodies under the school.
Well, the kids in the schoolhouse like killed all the adults. And then I think they like hid Uriel under them and then covered it with lime to like seal their tracks, like, or cover their tracks, I guess. Like,
All the adults that we saw that were under there were already dead.
yeah, they
Like
killed them.
Ruiz and his wife. No, Ruiz killed himself. And the wife, no,
Oh,
the Ruiz's pregnant wife killed him and then killed herself.
yes, she did.
Yeah. She's on the poster.
She sure is.
Sheesh. But that's what I mean is like everybody in there died not by the kids. I don't know.
No,
That was the only thing I just didn't like. What did they just hide them all in there so that the demon baby could be born? Was that the
I
point?
think so. Like, I think they were just trying to cover Uriel to like make sure that they didn't find him so that the demon could be born.
Okay.
That was my impression of what was happening.
Okay. That's fair. But I think that's what I would do. Yeah, just kidding.
Great. um, One thing I didn't understand was when they go back to the house, Mirta's house, to get Jair and like go home. Like, do they not think like, "Hey, where's mom?"
Yeah.
Like, how did they not realize that like something had happened to her prior to him
Yeah.
coughing up her hair? I would have been like, "Hey, that's weird. Where'd mom go?"
Yeah. I mean, I guess it was a little chaotic. Everything was a little like, ooh.
That's true. It was a
And who were they going to ask?
That's true. 'Cause I think at that
But,
point he'd gone back to like being nonverbal. Or I
well,
guess
they
like
never knew he wasn't.
pretending. Right, yeah. Like
Yeah.
putting on the facade of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Which that might have been the scariest or like at least the most unsettling scene in the movie is like just him sitting there and his eyes just like looking at his dad.
Oh, at the end when he's like coughing.
Yes.
Like the dad realizes and he just like
And the dad's like,
looks
"Oh
at him.
fuck, you're yes." That was extremely unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woof. Woof. I didn't understand the picture either.
What picture?
The picture that Jair drew, right? Jair?
Higher.
Jair.
Higher. Higher?
Jair.
I think.
Jair.
Yeah.
Unrelated, sorry. We'll circle back to that.
I don't even remember the
Um,
picture.
I don't speak a lot of Spanish.
Yeah,
I speak enough Spanish to know that the translation for this movie was not perfect. Not even great.
I don't think translations ever really are.
Okay. I wonder how much of the movie was like taken away from this. Like I
Mm,
would really love to watch this with someone who's like bilingual and could like proactively be like, "Oh, that's not exactly what they said." You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because there were scenes like the one like really obvious thing that stuck out to me was like they cursed a lot more than they translated,
Oh, yeah.
which like that can affect the tone of a movie significantly.
Yeah.
Just knowing how much they're cursing. And they did translate quite a bit of it, but they were cursing a lot more than they translated. So, I wonder what all else. And there were a bunch of other things, like just little things that I picked up on, like there was one scene where he said no, but what he was actually saying in Spanish was like a little bit, which is
Mm,
like completely different. That's totally different.
yeah.
Um, so I wonder like how those decisions are made and um if the meaning is misconstrued at all through translation.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if they're like translating it to have the same like feel or meaning as we would in our language, or
Yeah.
if they're translating it and just like completely missing the mark with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could go either
Yeah.
way, and I have no idea because I'm not a translator. So I'm an idiot who only knows this one language.
Oh my god. Um, yeah, anyway, okay, circling back to the picture.
Yes. What
As
picture?
promised.
Why do I not remember a picture? Oh, of the family.
Yeah, yeah, and one person was red in the drawing, and then the drawing was like superimposed over like the hair vomit at the end.
Why do I not remember this?
I don't know. I need to I really want to watch this again.
Yeah.
I probably am not making this like abundantly clear, but like I really enjoyed this movie. Um I'm just confused is
Yeah,
all.
that's fair.
But like in a good way.
Yeah, I feel like there were like some subtleties in this movie, but I think the is it the picture at the end or is it the picture like at the beginning when he's like pointing to it to try to get the keys from him?
What?
Isn't like when he like goes to the house to get them? Isn't he's like trying to get Jair to tell him where the keys are so that they can take the car and leave? And doesn't he like take the picture and like point at it to be like mom's keys? Like where are they?
Oh, maybe.
That's what I thought happened.
I don't remember that. I remember the
We're
picture.
both just making shit up.
Yeah, yeah. Neither of us actually saw this movie.
No.
Um, no, I was under the impression that the dad found the picture in Jair's hand in the car while they're at the cleaner's house. And he takes it and he opens it up and he's just like looking at it and then he folds it and puts it away and that's kind of like the first time we see it.
I can't remember if it shows the picture at the house, but I remember like because Santino says like, oh, like his picture's like in his hand or something like that, and then he like points to it and he's like, keys, where are mom's keys?
Oh.
But I guess I don't really know what the significance of that was. Maybe it's just like almost like an additional way for him to communicate with people. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe it was just like at that point in the movie cuz I'm wondering what the significance of the image at the end of the movie cuz like I said they kind of like it was kind of like superimposed is what it looked like over the like clumps of hair and like the barrette or whatever and the necklace
Mm,
or whatever all of that was. Um and then the dad goes outside and does his like screaming or whatever.
yeah.
Um but maybe it just kind of popped in my head. Maybe it was like his family's gone. Like that was like the last of the family. There's no more family left. So
I feel like that's a good guess. because I think that was kind of like the point of this movie is that like
Mhm.
he lost everybody except for
Yeah.
Jaime.
Yay. Do you think Jaime actually cheated with the ex-wife?
I don't know. I feel like you never really know like if a demon's telling the truth or not, and that's kind of like the point. Who's to say? That was on the Does the
But yeah.
Dog Die though. I looked through the whole Does the Dog Die because there were a lot of trigger warnings in this movie. And one of them was like, does someone cheat? And
Gaslighting.
it was like, we don't know. A
Oh.
demon says they did, but
Oh no.
my favorite was one of them was like, does like someone's family member die? And the answer was just like, yeah, that's literally the whole movie. Like that's what happens every single time someone dies. Like
Oh no. Yep.
it's rough.
Nothing will ever beat the infinity pool does the dog die.
Oh, because it's the dog man.
Yeah.
I just don't
Anyway.
like to think about that movie.
Yeah. We can pretend like we never saw it.
Okay. Um, this has like a really kind of big difference in its scores on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know if you looked. It has a
I didn't think it did.
99% critic score and a 57% audience score. It's
What? I thought
it's
it had like an 80 something.
no, it's rotten compared to
I don't believe
audiences.
you.
Look it up.
I don't believe you. I literally just looked this up.
Oh, wow, that's crazy that you literally read it and didn't see it. But she goes, she's realizing I'm right.
No, I'm looking 81%, 99% fresh, 81% audience score.
What? Why is mine different than yours? Oh my god, it's updated.
Since when?
Literally, when I wrote this, it was rotten. I'm not even fucking with you.
When did this come out? When did you watch this?
Not that long ago. Well, I rewatched it last night, but the first time I watched it was like a week ago. And when I
Oh,
looked it
it
up
just
then,
came out like 3 weeks ago.
yeah, it had like 50 ratings and it was rotten. That's
Oh.
so crazy that it's changed that much in a week.
Oh.
Because I swear I literally wrote it down because I was like, when we talk about this, I'm going to talk about like that because it's crazy to me. Because usually, like, critics are so harsh on horror movies. Like,
Yeah.
it's very rare that you find ones that like critics loved but audiences hated. So I thought that was so interesting. Well, I'm glad that it's changed and that the audiences come to their senses.
Yeah. It's not interesting anymore.
Yeah. Shit, never mind. Fuck me.
I wonder if they'll submit for like Academy Awards and stuff. Do you think? For like foreign film?
I doubt it. The Academy hates horror.
Parasite?
Yeah, but that's not like full on horror.
I suppose.
God, that movie slaps though.
It was a
Um,
good movie.
how scary did you think this movie was?
2.5.
Okay.
Pretty spooky. Um, it was unnerving.
Yeah.
A lot of like tense, just icky
Yeah.
scenes. Um, and like perilous scenes, specifically children in peril,
Mm,
which also affects the fucked up bidness.
it does.
But it was scary to watch. A lot of it was very scary to watch. And 2.5, like I keep saying, like it was scary, very scary. Like 2.5 is one of the higher scores I've given in a long
Yeah.
time.
It is. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Since like us.
Yeah, probably.
It was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
Sorry, I had to think for a really long time.
It's fine, you know. Gotta take our time sometimes.
Yeah. What'd you give it?
I give it a 2, which is pretty high for me, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's definitely moments of tension. I was genuinely like enthralled the first time I watched this. Like I could not look away. And that's like also hard like high praise from me because I am very much a I'm going to do other things while I watch movies type of person. So to have a movie like obviously I can't do that as much with foreign films as like
Yeah.
regular horror movies, so that kind of helped it, but like I remember just like sitting there like, "Oh my god, like what is going to happen next?"
Yeah.
But yeah, there were
Yeah.
definitely moments like when they're sleeping in the car and you just like see Sabrina's like outline coming towards the car. I was like, please.
Yeah. It wasn't even those things that scare. I mean, yeah, that was scary too, but it was like,
Yeah, that was more like the tension moments where you're like, oh, what's
yeah.
gonna happen?
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. And that's what scared me too, but it wasn't like the ones that I don't even think intended to be scary. It was like the kids playing with the dog or like,
Mm, right, but yeah, that's like another tension moment where you're like, you know that the dog is not okay,
yeah.
but like they don't, and you're just like, oh god, like what's gonna happen?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Um yeah. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah. How how sexy do you think it was?
A 1. This film has many strong points. Sexiness is not one of them. What about you?
Couldn't agree more. A 1.
Yeah.
Not nothing could have made me desire.
Yeah.
That's
It
all.
wasn't it. Yeah. How fucked up.
Extremely. Very fucked up. Okay, so we've got the dog scene.
Mhm.
We've got the brain scene.
Yep.
We've got the blatant child abuse scene.
Yeah.
Uh we've got the eye twitching thing.
Yeah.
I think I got to give it a 4. It was
That is
pretty
a fair
fucked.
score. This
Thank
is
you.
yeah.
Thank you. I do have to say before we go any further that if you don't give it at least a 3, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
First of all, I will rate things how I would like to rate things. Second of all, I gave it a 3.
Thank you. Thank God.
Yeah, no, they really don't shy away from anything in this.
No.
Um yeah. The dog scene was like more like shocking to me. The brain scene was more like, oh. And then honestly, one of the parts that like was the worst for me
Wait, can I
personally.
guess? Can I guess?
Yeah,
Is it the penis? Oh.
no.
Okay. Well, that.
Why would it be the penis?
Well, I mean, at the beginning of the movie, when the rotten is on the bed,
Yeah,
he's juicing
yeah, he is.
pus
Yeah, that part
from like
was not great for
there,
me.
his penis. Oh, what were you gonna say?
The worst part for me was the coughing up the hair part.
Oh, really? That didn't
That
bother me at all.
is so gross to me.
Oh,
I don't just pulling hair out of your throat is like the grossest. I can't even imagine having to do that. That's so
no.
gross.
You don't live with dogs.
I lived
And
with
it
dogs my
shows.
whole life and I didn't eat their hair, you weirdo.
Well, I mean, I'm not eating their hair on
But
purpose.
like sometimes you get like a hair in your mouth. You're not pulling out fucking chunks of hair from your mouth,
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
from your throat. It was in there. He was like, oh, it was stringy. Eh.
Yeah.
No, I don't like
Yeah.
that. I don't like that one.
Well, this might be too much.
Oh,
I'll say it and we can take it out if we need to.
great.
When I was a school kid, long time ago.
Hmm.
You know those like
You'll get there.
Mardi Gras necklaces.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had one and I was like sucking on it or whatever. And for whatever reason, I put the whole thing in my mouth. And just kind of let it sit there for a while. And it occurred to me that I was not swallowing because had I swallowed, who knows what would have happened. So my spit was just kind of pooling in my mouth with the bracelet. So I had to do something. I couldn't just take the bracelet out of my mouth there on my bed
Because there was so much.
because there was
Spit.
just like probably like an hour's worth of saliva just backed up
You
there.
didn't swallow for an hour?
Well, I don't know how long I was reading. Who knows how long elementary / middle school, maybe even high school, Katie was just sitting there sucking on a necklace. Anyway, I had to go over the toilet. I just kind of like, and I don't do spit. So
Yeah.
that was like the low light of my life. Not the low life. I mean, pretty low life, but the low light of my life. I hated every second of that. What was I? Where was I going with that? Oh, so the fact that it was blood instead of spit, because it should have been spit.
Okay. You liked that better.
Yeah. Had it been spit, that would have really bothered me. I probably didn't need to tell a story. I could have just said that.
No, you did. I'm sorry that happened to you. I
Me
don't
too.
know what to say.
I've never done it since.
Wow. Good. That's
Yeah.
weird behavior. I'm glad that you learned your lesson.
Thanks.
Kind of hard to segue
Overall.
out of that one.
Overall.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I gave this a 4.5.
Wow.
This movie fucking rips. I had so much fun watching this. I am not usually a like paranormal girly, but loved it. I thought it was great. Big fan. What about you?
From the beginning of this movie, so from the, okay. I gave it a 5. This is a 5 for me. From the very beginning of this movie, I was like, this is going to be a 5. It's like loosely zombies. I fucking love zombies. It's so incredibly well acted. It's not cheesy. Everything I was worried about happening did not like, as far as like the movie like going south, did not happen. I could not predict a single fucking thing that could I would never have predicted anything that could possibly have happened in this movie. The one thing that's sticking out to me right now is like when like the demon was born, he kind of like stands up in the background and he's like this menacing figure. And I'm like, oh God, they're going to like show this demon baby. And it's going to be some stupid CGI shit. And the whole movie is going to be fucking ruined. I wish it would just be some kid covered in blood. And he was a kid covered in blood. It was the best thing that's ever fucking happened to me. That was literally exactly what I needed. I'm so glad they didn't try to CGI that into some weird monster. It was just like, to like the director's point, it was just a scary movie. There was not a lot to like think on.
Yeah.
There was enough to think on. It was just like it I hadn't said this yet. I'm genuinely surprised that you were able to find as many fun facts as you did, because I couldn't find any. So I've been like waiting until this to be able to talk. But like, it seriously gave me Last of Us vibes. Like the tone is very similar. The like the whole like theme of family is very similar. It's you know, there's like this like different like stages of possession or whatever. It just felt very Last of Us, and Last of Us is like one of the greatest TV shows of all time, and I stand by that. And this just gave me exactly what I needed to tide me over until the next season of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really, really, really enjoyed this movie. I won't shut up about this. You're gonna have to stop me. I immediately messaged like 10 people, even before I finished watching it. I was messaging people like, "Oh my God, you have to watch this movie." Everybody that at work that I know that loves horror, I was like, "Have you seen this movie yet? We'll watch it." So yeah.
I love that. I wanted to post in the Discord, but I was like, I don't want Katie to know how hyped I am about it. Because at that time, I will remind you, the Rotten Tomato scores. The audiences did not like, and one of the things that they didn't like, I was reading through some of the reviews, and like a lot of people said that they didn't like the ending at all. That it was anticlimactic, and that it like wasn't as like much as they wanted it to be. And so I was like, this might be like a movie that like is divisive, and like maybe she'll hate it. I don't know, but like I loved it when I watched it. So I was like, but yeah, I wanted to post it in the Discord too, because I was like, dude, this movie fucking goes so crazy.
Yeah, because like, what do you do?
You don't.
What do you do? Like,
You just
realize that your kid is fucking possessed.
Yeah. It's a
All
very
that you
like
have left is your brother. Like,
tragic ending.
yeah, that's it. You're done.
Yeah. But I think
American
it's funny
audiences
because
would have hated this. Like, honestly,
that's why the Rotten Tomato scores are so high.
Exactly. If this had been screen tested on American audiences, it would have been rewritten guaranteed. Because we've talked about alternate endings that have had just awful ending.
Yeah.
Like I don't mean awful like bad.
Sad endings.
Yeah, like just like grim endings.
Hopeless.
Yeah, hopeless endings that have had to be rewritten because test audiences were like, "Oh my God, that was just horrible. I had never watched that movie."
Yeah.
So, like, thank God this was a foreign film, because we never would have gotten away with that here.
I mean, I wonder though. Because like, yeah, there were movies like The Descent that rewrote the ending for American audiences.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also movies like The Mist. So like,
okay, that's true.
Who's to say about what America likes and doesn't like?
Well, The Mist is almost gimmicky though. The Mist is like a
Don't say that about that ending.
I'm not
it's
wrong.
The best ending to a horror movie ever.
It's gimmicky.
The rest of the movie kind of is. I don't think the ending's that gimmicky. It's just like tragic. Brotherman killed his kid.
It's a twist. It's a twist ending. It's a twist ending. It's like, oh my God, that yeah.
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 Anyways, I'm really glad that you liked it. This is now your 4th official 5 out of 5, but you have recanted 2 of those. So
oh, I did?
Technically, we'll say it's your 2nd 5 out of 5.
And the other one is also a zombie movie, a foreign zombie movie.
This is not a zombie movie.
Yes, it is.
This is a possession movie. Damien Rugnot was clear about that.
What are zombies if not possessions by a virus or something?
That's not possession. That's infected.
What are infections if not possessions by a virus or something?
Wrong.
Oh,
But
is that the
yeah,
other one though? 5 out of 5 is Train to Busan?
yeah, you gave Train to Busan a 5 out of 5, and you gave this a 5 out of 5. You recanted
Yeah.
your A Quiet Place 5 out of 5, and again, you recanted your Happy Death Day 5 out of 5. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Happy Death Day is like a 4. Quiet Place is like a 4.
that's fair. But you know what? That's gonna happen. As you watch more movies, I feel like ratings change because you have more things to compare it to. But fuck yeah, I'm so happy. This movie is so good.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
One of the thoughts that I have, and I won't be as bold as to say this quite yet because I still do love Talk to Me. But I was like, maybe I did speak too soon by saying that that was the best horror movie of 2023 because this one is a fucking contender. It is up there. But I gave both
This is
4.5, so
this is better than Talk to Me for me.
I'm still not
Hands
sure.
hands down.
They're like neck and neck. I think they might be like same.
What was wrong with Talk to Me? Remember?
Yeah, but I still didn't give this one a 5 out of 5 either.
But what was wrong with Talk to Me?
They
Do you
didn't
remember what was wrong?
discover they didn't explore grief enough. I don't think this movie really explored grief though. It was moving too fast to really explore it. There was
I
grief,
mean,
but
they portrayed it.
they did
That's for
portray
fucking
it.
sure.
But they portrayed it in Talk to Me too. They just didn't explore it as much as I would have liked.
I just don't feel like they portrayed it well in Talk to Me. It was
Don't
kind of glossed
just
over.
calm down, okay?
Well, that was why it wasn't a 5.
Yeah, this one's not a 5 to me either. But it's fucking close. It's a good movie. Great film.
I literally can't think of a single thing they should have done different. I was so ready to be like, yeah, it's a 4.5 because that stupid fucking demon baby. But
You got what you wanted.
I got exactly what I wanted. I literally said
happy.
that out loud. I was like, oh my God, they're going to CGI this. It's going to ruin the whole movie. And then literally angels from above. It's just a child covered in blood. Ugh. God, brought tears to my eyes.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
The real question though is would you survive?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm alive. Um every everything that what am I trying to say?
I don't know.
Every character
Mm-hmm.
in the movie
Yeah.
did exactly what they were told to not to do.
Yes, they did.
Always.
Always.
Very frustrating.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a 4.5 kind of frustrating. It was still a 5.0 frustrating. Away from the
That's
movie
honestly
at all.
like part of the reason why it was kind of like not a 5 for me. I don't know.
That's
I think
fair.
there's times when like characters like do dumb things and it's like, okay, it's for the plot, right? But like sometimes you're like, come on, Pedro.
Yeah.
Pedro. Come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also said I would survive because like I'm deferring to the expert. So if Mirta's over there telling me, hey, this is what needs to happen, I'm gonna be like, great, let's get this done. Wrapped up, Uriel's dead, Demon's dead, I win. I'm better. My whole family's still dead, but I win.
Yeah. So you're saying that you're making all of those mistakes leading up to
No, I wouldn't have
her
made
taking
a
out
lot
her
of those
steampunk
mistakes.
telescope. Okay.
No. There were a lot of things that they did that I did not understand why they were doing. Why wouldn't they change their clothes before they go to pick up their like why do they keep using guns? Why are they not following these rules that they have in place?
There's only 7 of them.
There's only
in
7 of
Zombieland there were
them.
like 200.
There were so many. Yeah, I didn't understand that because it seemed like this like was a well-established thing that like towns deal with. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like, it didn't happen in their town, but, like, it was something that they all have knowledge of. They all know, like, these rules. And I get that, like, I think the point was to show, like, how panic can cause people to, like, not think logically,
Yeah.
but not me. I'm built different, so I'm better.
Yeah. I've never panicked about anything in my life.
I the trick for me is that I'm always panicking. So
I'm just kidding. I literally had to have a warhead today.
the candy?
Yeah. You never heard that before?
No. What does that mean? What do
Oh.
you mean?
Yeah, like it's like this new like grounding technique where if you like think you're going to have a panic attack, you have a warhead cuz it's like so sour it like just kind of takes you out of it.
Oh no, I love
I think it
warheads.
works.
I
I do too.
used to eat them. I would eat so many that my tongue would go raw.
Nice.
And I also used to eat raw lemon or like just lemons. I'd eat them like oranges.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did do that.
Yeah, I had to stop because it's really bad for your teeth. But
Oh,
I wish I
yeah.
could. I wish I could do it again. Sometimes I fiend for the lemons.
Oh my god. Just like brush your teeth right after.
I don't know. It's the acid's not good for the enamel, and you know me and my teeth. I have issues with teeth, so I gotta keep these bad boys fresh.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. Do you want to predict next week's movie?
Sure.
Okay.
It's not Speak No Evil, is it?
No, it's not. We changed some things around. I'm so sorry. We'll add that
Sorry,
one
that
to
was
the
my
list. So
fault.
you can. I'm glad you watched it anyway.
Yeah, well, it's yeah.
We'll talk about it eventually. Uh,
Yay.
okay. Next week we're talking about Midsummer or Midsummer. People say it Midsummer, but Ari Aster said it's okay if you say Midsummer, and I'm gonna call it Midsummer. So
Okay.
sue me.
Yeah, okay, so Midsummer is about a boyfriend and girlfriend. The girlfriend is Florence Pugh.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you say her last name?
I think so.
I just really want it to be Puff. You
Oh,
know? It's not.
I don't think
But
it is.
wouldn't that be cute? Florence Puff?
Little Puff.
Yeah. Come on.
Sounds like a little fairy.
Yeah. Um girlfriend and boyfriend.
Yep.
And they travel to a Nordic country.
Right.
One of the Nordic countries
Okay.
for the Midsummer Festival. And it's in like a secluded area, like a secluded little like town
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. And they find themselves immersed in some rituals, midsummer rituals.
What kind of rituals?
The opposite of misogynistic. Feminist?
Okay.
Is that the opposite of misogynistic? Feminist?
Sure.
No, feminist
Yeah.
is like equal rights, not
Yeah.
like
That's
women
not
are better.
it. That'd be misandry.
I think it's kind of misandry,
Okay.
but we're into it. I mean,
Great.
I'm into it. And
Can you give me just one example of the misandrist ritual that they have to go through?
yes.
Great.
I was getting to that.
Okay.
The boyfriends, all of the men die.
All
But
of them.
specifically the boyfriend, I think he abuses Florence Puff.
Oh.
He gets a bear or a deer head, it's unclear, put on his head.
Okay.
Maybe his head's cut off first. That would be cool.
Okay.
And then the bear or deer head, I forget, is put on his head. And then he dies. And that's the misandry.
Okay.
And then Florence is like super stoked on that.
Okay. She's happy that he's dead.
Yeah, and that's the end of the movie.
Great.
She's just happy. It's like a slow like a slow zoom on her face. She's just like slowly starting to smile, like Oh my god, he's gone.
See, this
Yes,
is great
Midsummer.
because it's very clear that you've seen things from this film.
Yep.
Yeah, you definitely got aspects of it correct. Others, not quite, but um,
Is it a bear or a deer?
it's a bear.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay. I am too. I really, really, really want to watch this movie.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like desperate to watch it because it's all over TikTok.
Yeah, it's probably better that you watch it that way. You know, you can just dig in. You don't have to like worry about it getting spoiled.
Yeah, I have worried about it being spoiled for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm desperately avoiding, and I don't know how I've avoided it being spoiled for this long. Um, yeah,
I
but
mean, it
I'm
sounds
excited.
like you've kind of like seen spoilers, but it sounds like I don't think it was like enough context for it to like really like spoil it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure the boyfriend dies, and I'm pretty sure that has something to do with a bear head.
Yeah, like the bear head is like kind of a spoiler,
Okay,
but I feel like it's vague enough that
is
you don't quite know like what it's spoiling. You know what I mean?
yeah, is you telling me that the bear head is a spoiler? A spoiler?
Mm, no.
Okay.
I think like almost everything that you've like seen from it is probably like semi a spoiler, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Like, but I think there's still plenty in this film that has not been ruined.
Good. Yeah.
I don't really think any of it will be ruined by the bits that you've seen, so.
Good.
But we'll see. It's kind of hard. You already know my feelings about this film, so
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't influence your watching.
Well, I think even more unfortunately, like most people feel that way. So I'm going into it like with really high expectations.
Yeah, which I feel like sometimes like that can like ruin a movie for me. It
Yeah.
has before, so like
Yeah. Which I think like in hindsight is kind of what happened with the menu. Like I just went
mm,
into it with like I was so ready for it to be something like so scary or so funny or so something like so revolutionary, and then it was just like Moses doing whatever he was doing. Or I guess it was Ramesses
do you often
cooking.
refer to people as their characters from the Prince of Egypt?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, great. Okay.
Would you rather me refer to him as a character from a different movie?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Voldemort
not that
making
one.
cheeseburgers. Okay.
I meant Made in Manhattan.
What? He's in Made in Manhattan?
Yeah, he falls in
Ah,
love
who
with
knew?
Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, what?
Their her kid is Tyler Posey, who's in Teen Wolf. Great film. No, I don't know that for a fact. I have not seen that movie since I was like 3 years old. So
I've never seen that movie.
obviously, you didn't even know J Lo was in it.
I did not.
That's crazy. Well, next week we're going to watch Made in Man.
We're flipping the script.
Yep. Sorry, folks. No longer a horror podcast.
And then the next episode is our 50th episode? 50th episode? Or two more
mm,
episodes?
no. Let me look at our calendar.
We're getting close.
2 more episodes. We have Midsummer, one after that, and then our 50th episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's
We're really
crazy.
doing it. We're doing the
Yeah.
damn thing.
This is I have said this multiple times before. But this is the longest commitment I have had outside of my husband and child.
1 year.
Mm-hmm. And my job, I guess.
Yeah, honestly,
But other
maybe
than
me
that,
too. Look at us go. Who would have thought?
yeah. Yeah. All right. Bye.
God, it gets more depressing every time. Give it a little pep in your step.
Bye.
There it is.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for today. If there are any movies you'd like to hear us talk about or you'd like to traumatize me with, please let us know in the comments or shoot us a DM on our socials at Killer Cuties Podcast.
Thanks so much for listening. Next week, we're going to be talking about the folk horror film starring Florence Pugh, Midsummer. We hope to see you then. Bye.